spent over $1,000 to test standing desk mats ranging from $15 all the way to $400. And to make this video more exciting, we're gonna add some fire! Fire! Because I'm Asian, I'm not gonna be using shoes for this test, although when I tested them, I did use shoes, don't worry. And I typically charge for these spicy Asian feet pics, but it can be yours for just a like, subscribe, and comment which one you like. Now, I'm gonna be rating these standing desk mats, not ranking them, because some might not be available where you're at. And so I think a rating is gonna be better, and I'm gonna rate them out of 5 flames. Links to everything will be in the description below, as well as tagged in the YouTube shop. Using them costs you nothing, but it keeps me from having to sell my spicy Asian feet pics for a living, and I really appreciate your support. First up is the Kitchen Clouds kitchen mat. This thing costs $15, and if you're wondering why a kitchen mat is on this list, it's because the marketing geniuses over there at Kitchen Clouds realized that they were missing out on sales. So the full listing name of this thing is actually Kitchen Clouds Kitchen Mat Cushioned Anti-Fatigue Rug, 17.3 inches by 28 inches, waterproof, non-slip, standing and comfort desk / floor mats for house sink office. I've always wanted a house sink office. The Kitchen Clouds mat is one of the thinnest mats on this list, coming in at ½ inch. And what's great is that as soon as you step on it, you feel that immediate ecstasy of that super soft cushion on your feet, but nothing lasts forever. And in this case, it barely lasts 30 seconds because the cushion is so soft, it's so not dense. I don't know what's the opposite of dense, but because of that, you instantly feel the hard floor. This could be okay if you're not standing for very long periods at all, but if you're standing for more than 5 minutes, I don't recommend this to anyone. 1 flame out of 5. Next up is the Traffic Master mat. This thing comes in at 24 inches by 36 inches, and it's ½ inch thick. And if you've ever worked at a garage or a restaurant, you have definitely seen this mat before. If you have not worked at either of those places, you are probably rich and a spoiled brat, in which case you should definitely pick up standing desk mats for your entire family, using my links, of course. The foam on the Traffic Master mat is the complete opposite of the Kitchen Clouds, where this one has almost no give whatsoever. But when you stand on it, you can feel a little bit of compression, a little bit of bounce. It feels really good. It does have a texture on it, I don't know what you call it, a textured design on it. So it's probably gonna be best for people with socks or shoes on, unless you like that kind of texture on your bare feet. Now, this thing isn't as like soft and squishy as I said before. It's definitely much more of a dense foam. And so when you're standing at your desk, it might not give you that same kind of like, that wraparound feel around your feet like you might want while working in a cozy place like home. But again, it's a tried and true mat, works really well. It clearly holds up because they use it in restaurants and garage spaces, and the price is pretty solid as well. Because of that, I'm gonna give it 3 flames out of 5. Next up is the Fetal Anti-Fatigue mat. This thing comes in at 20 inches by 32 inches, I believe, and it's 0.9 inches thick, so the thickest one we've seen so far. And this one reminds me a lot of the Kitchen Clouds mat in terms of its cushion. It's definitely girthier though, right? Because again, 0.9 inches, and because it's girthier, while it does feel softer than this Traffic Master here, this one, because it's a little denser, it's not quite as soft as the Kitchen Clouds mat. Overall, it's a no-frills mat, but it does have some grippy pads on the bottom to prevent it from sliding around everywhere if you're on a hard floor like this, although I don't think you're gonna have any issues with it sliding anyway. I'm gonna deduct some points though, because the working surface area of this is very small. It has these really large bezeled edges, I don't know what you call them, and they're not, it's not really dense here, so it's not really giving you any kind of massage in that rounded part of your foot. So again, I feel like they kind of robbed you of some surface area here where you can actually stand. And because of that, I'm gonna give it 3.5 flames out of 5. Next up is the Topo Comfort Mat. This thing slaps. I mean, it burns. What I'm trying to say is it's just a really, really good mat, and I think this is one of the best. Coming in at $109, it is literally triple the price of the previous mat, but this thing makes standing an absolute joy. In terms of measurements, I think it measures 29 inches by 26 inches, and then in terms of the lowest point, it's 0.85 inches thick, and at the highest point, I think it's like 4 inches thick. I forget the exact measurements. The foam here is like a perfect balance between dense as well as soft, so you do get nice cushioning for your feet. But what's really, really a game changer about this is, like, my legs, personally, I feel like my legs have ADHD whenever I stand up. I feel like I constantly need to move around and, shuffle around a little bit. They just need something to do, and this mat is just like a giant playground for my feet. You see this big old bulbous thing in the middle that looks kind of like a teardrop? This bulb is so perfect for massaging that inner part, that inner curve of your feet. It's really, really awesome. And then unlike the feet toe, whatever that one's called over there, unlike that one, this one also has edges, but these are raised. And then the foam that's used in these edges, they're much denser. And so if you want like a nice soft massage, you go with the circle one. But if you want a nice point, rough, woof, woof. So I don't know where that came from. I'm really tired. If you want like a nice pointed massage for your legs, your feet, this is like absolutely amazing. This feels so good. You can get a much more harsh one here or a bit of a softer one up at the front like this. It's just so good, and the foam is perfect. Again, like really dense where it needs to be dense and really soft where it needs to be soft. Unlike the others on this list, this one has a 7-year warranty and it's made in America, baby, which is awesome. But there is a downside. This thing weighs 8 pounds and it's not the easiest to pick up and grab and move. And because of that, it can be a little bit unwieldy. We found that whenever you use a standing desk mat when you're at your desk, you really can't have it in the same place because your chair will literally go right on top of this. So you can't have it in the same place. And because it's a little heavier, it's more difficult to like lift up and move, but you can just kind of push and slide it forward. And I will say that if you have enough, what we found is that if you have enough space in front of your desk here to slide it under like that, when you have your chair tucked under the desk, because these edges are raised like this, you can actually rest your feet on here and prevent your chair from sliding around, especially again if you have hard floors like we do here. The Topo mat gets a 4.5 flames out of 5. We're moving now into the balance board standing desk mat options, starting with the whirly board here. Now, I picked this up. This is $170, really, really well built. And I picked this up because one of my viewers, one of the commenters said, hey, he loves his whirly board when standing at a standing desk. And I had to say, dear commenter, you must be a masochist because I do not know how you're using this with a standing desk. Like legitimately, my mind is blown because after about 30 seconds on this thing, I was sweating. Again, the build quality on this is proven by its 400-pound weight limit, and they offer a lifetime warranty, which is excellent. This thing is basically a skateboard with those round edges here, and it's got really, really grippy material on top. It's gonna grip shoes, socks, bare feet, whatever. On your bare feet, this could actually be just slightly uncomfortable if you're rubbing your feet. If they're stationary, you're totally fine, which is what most people are gonna do, so not a big issue there. But the reason why this thing, I feel like that commenter, I mean, you must have an iron core or something, because this thing, you see how bulbous and how round this bottom piece is here, and you see how tall it is off the ground. Because of this, it was the only board in this entire thing where I felt like I was legit potentially gonna hurt myself. Like you can see the range of the forward here is it's not like a very safe thing. And if I'm standing at a standing desk, obviously I'm not gonna go forward and back, but at the same time, to try to balance it and work is near impossible I'm not exaggerating, guys. And to give you guys some context, I know you guys, some of you guys will be like, you're weak, you know, you have no core. It's like, I'm not the strongest guy in the world, but I have been working out 4 times a week, my entire body, including my core, almost every time. And so, yeah, I'm not like the weakest guy in the world. And I will say that trying to balance this thing, even after 2 days of use, has been nearly impossible. And when standing at a desk, I'm not working. I'm just holding onto the desk for dear life because it is not that easy to use whatsoever. So if you're not a masochist, then I don't think this is going to be for you. And while I think this is an amazing core training, balance training board away from a desk with a standing desk mat and as a companion, I have to give it 0 flames out of 5. Next up is the MoveMate standing desk balance board. This thing is literally or more than double the price of the whirly board, coming in at $359. Again, the build quality on this thing is phenomenal and it is visually just absolutely stunning. This thing is made with birch wood, you know, a bunch of slats here, and then they're connected by, I think, a bungee cable, which is why each of those slats can kind of move independently like that. And again, visually, absolutely stunning. I feel like I'm being hypnotized here. Now, MoveMate did send this one over, but they're not sponsoring this video. They don't get to preview this video. I didn't share my thoughts on anything. So again, this video is not sponsored by them. The build quality, again, is solid, supporting up to 400 pounds, but it is by far the heaviest mat on this list, coming in at 12 pounds. And this is, man, that is chonky. Using it is really intuitive because you just stand on it and then you can just flex your feet back and forth. And each of those wood slats kind of bends actually really, really nicely and fits into that curvature of your feet. Now, I have flat feet here, so I'm not sure what it would feel like if you had actually normal feet, you know, because I got, you know, I don't got curves, you know, so it's okay. Not everyone does. But, you know, even then, I feel like it really gets into that crevice pretty nicely. But overall, it does feel firm because it's, well, wood. The slats are shaped on the bottom in this kind of rounded way, which actually gives this mat not just the ability to flex your feet back and forth and your ankles, but it also gives it a balance board feel. As you can see, I can kind of turn it and spin it like this, and I can also kind of rock left and right as well, and forward and back as well on the thing. So it kind of gives you that balance board feel. But I will say that the curvature is probably the least intense of all of the balance boards here. It's really close to the ground as well. So at no point did I ever feel like I was ever in danger or at risk of falling off the board, because again, like, it's just a really minimal type of movement. It's really great. I would say overall this thing is helpful and helps me focus on work without playing around with it, because again, there isn't that much play on here except for the feet moving back and forth, and you can do this all day while working at your desk. Some things to keep in mind is that this is going to require more maintenance than the other boards here, because all these individual slats, so you want to make sure that it's clean kind of almost at all times. And then you've got these screws that kind of keep that bungee cable that holds them in place. And so you do need to maybe check it and make sure it's tightened. Also, again, because it's wood, it's probably going to be best used with socks or bare feet. And I will say that this thing sucks when you use any kind of slipper or shoe, because the whole point of this thing is to have each of those like wooden pieces flex. And if you're using shoes, it doesn't feel good because the whole thing is bending and your shoe isn't bending with it, right? And so I was wearing my indoor slippers that you saw me take off earlier, and again, on this thing, it did not feel good. So if you're a shoe wearer because you're weird and you wear shoes in the house, this might not be for you. The MoveMate is made in Toronto, Canada. They offer a lifetime warranty, which they better at this price point. And overall, it looks really good, has a great warranty, super intuitive to use, and feels really safe. And I would give it a 4 flames out of 5, but the really high price tag makes me have to bump it half a point, so 3.5 flames out of 5. Let me move the MoveMate out of the way, because next up is the Fluid Stance. This thing is the most expensive, coming in at $389. Again, the build quality is exceptional. I got the maple with the die cast aluminum on the bottom, and these holes here allow the weight of this to come down a little bit. It looks cool, but it also, I think, keeps the weight down. This thing weighs 8 pounds, so it's not light by any means, but significantly lighter compared to the MoveMate over there. And again, lifetime warranty on this thing. It feels pretty much like the Whirly board, except you can already tell how much wider this surface area is, and so it makes it feel infinitely safer compared to the Whirly board. And also you can see that it's not very high off the ground, which again makes it feel a lot safer than the Whirly board. Now, when I stood on this, I could almost immediately balance it perfectly, just like this. And I will say that because of the nature of the curvature on the bottom, it is much better for left and right balancing more than forward and back. You can barely get any forward and back on this. It feels more like a swing as opposed to like an actual tilting there and resting your feet on the heels and the balls of your feet. That is something you can do on the MoveMate, but on the Fluid Stance here, you can't really push it there and hold it because it does feel a little bit more slippery. So yeah, this is much more of a left and right type of movement board. The best way I can put it is that the MoveMate feels really safe, but the Fluid Stance, you feel alive, baby. I mean, this thing really lets you kind of like balance and kind of move around throughout the day. Like, it really encourages that. And again, it's not hard to balance whatsoever. Feels really comfortable to use at your desk and to type. And if you want maximum stability, you can just lean to the side and work like this and shift over to the other side and keep working like that. So again, it works really nicely. One thing that you can do that you couldn't do with the MoveMate, because again, it's got that additional like movement, is that you can actually use it as a balance board trainer core / balance trainer. And they also include a couple of cool knickknacks. They include this little, it looks 3D printed, like this big plastic piece. And you can see that if you put this on, it's gonna make that thing almost like a Whirly board, just not as high, but you're gonna get a lot more slipperiness, a lot more difficulty to balance it. And so if you wanted to use it as your own like balance / core trainer, you could do that away from your desk, which is really cool. They also include a nice little bag that it came in as well. So if you wanna protect it, keep dust out of it, whatever, you can just pack it up there. I think all of these brands sell like some kind of accessory that you can store it on the side, but it's nice that it comes with it. Again, at $389, they better come with it, right? Unlike the MoveMate, you can use the Fluid Stance with bare feet, socks, shoes, you name it, because it's just a flat surface. The only thing though is that this surface is just a solid surface with no grip. And it looks beautiful, but because it doesn't have any kind of grip on it, with socks, especially slippery socks that I have on right now, you can feel a little bit of slip. Although again, it's not angled deep enough that you're gonna like find your feet sliding off the board. But I would like a little bit of grip, but I don't know how you would add the grip without destroying the beautiful look of that natural wood. They say it's 95% made with parts in the USA. They offer a lifetime warranty, again, for the price they better. And I would give this thing a 4 flames out of 5, but again, because of that high price tag, I'm gonna have to bump it, so 3.5 flames out of 5. I know I'm gonna get a lot of questions, MoveMate or fluid stance, MoveMate or fluid stance. And to that, I had to say, look, you really have to love wood. Not that kind of wood. You can love that kind of wood too, but not that kind of wood, because you really have to love wood because you are paying a premium for wood here. I mean, these are not cheap. But I mean, overall, the same thoughts that I said before, right? The MoveMate feels safer. If you feel like you don't really want to work out while you're at your desk, you want a little bit of movement, and you're okay wearing socks or bare feet at your desk, then yeah, the MoveMate's definitely going to be for you. Again, you do get a little bit of bouncing here. You can spin and have some fun here as well. But if you're somebody, ooh, these are very expensive. Don't clash with each other, please. But if you're somebody who wants a little bit more of a challenge, who wants to feel a little bit more alive while you're standing at your desk, and you are a shoe wearer, you're definitely not going to wear socks or bare feet at your desk, and you're somebody who is okay with a little bit of extra balance, or you want to have like a 2-in-1, a balance board / core trainer, as well as something to pair with your standing desk, then I think the fluid stance is going to be the better pick for you. Also, don't waste your money on a crappy standing desk. Check out the one I recommend here, and until next time, stay honest.